items when any time that spirit of stealing came into you?
I was still money. Money was the thing I was taking most of the time. Now I'll enter into a room. I won't be there before they hide the money. I will not be there before they hide the money. But then I'll enter into a room, sit down, and I'll be like, wow, I can smell money in this room. I need money. I'll close my eyes. 2 minutes, I'll open my eyes. I'll just move straight to where the money will be kept. I'll just pick it. Yeah.
So even if that money is hidden in a very secret place, once you entered the room and close your eyes, a spirit would push you to know where that money is located.
Yeah.
And like, how much money were you stealing on a regular basis?
Well, I was taking, let's say, thousands of dollars. Yeah, I was stealing money. I was willing to steal money from my home. Yeah.
And what were you using this money to do? What were you using this money for?
Yes, I'll go out there, buy good stuff for myself. I'll buy shoes, I'll buy shirts, yeah.
Okay, so I hope we're hearing from our brother. He's explaining how from the age of 8, he began to develop a habit of stealing after he went to a funeral where he witnessed idol worship and a specific ritual being performed. And he said anytime he used to go into a room to steal, a spirit would communicate to him where that money was located, and he would be able to steal. He has stolen thousands of dollars, and he would just use this money to live a very lavish lifestyle, flamboyant lifestyle. So tell us, as you got older, how did this develop and become even more serious?
Yeah, this thing became serious when I got to university. You know, when I got to university, I've made friends who were kind of spending money. They were living a kind of big life. So with the kind of money I was getting from home, they were in now. Since my dad was so strict, he started restricting me. Yeah, so I asked them how they made their money, and then I was introduced to how they get their money. You know, initially they didn't want to tell me, but then upon several pressurization, I was introduced to how they make their money, which I also got enticed into it, and then I started getting my money. It deals with this kind of spiritualist thing. Yeah. Firstly, I was given a spiritualist number that I called on phone, and I told him I needed money. So he now gave me his options, and then I chose one out of the numerous options he gave me, which I went in for. He gave me several options, and some of the options were like wallet money, instant money, God's money, bag money, and then do what I say. Yeah, you know, with the wallet money, for instance, you know, way back in my country, our biggest currency we use is 50 Ghana cedis. Now, you would send an empty wallet to the god, to the ritual, the guy who performed the ritualist for you. So then, when you send a wallet to him, he will command the 50 cedis into your wallet. Now, with that 50 cedis, you can use to buy a car, you can use to buy a house, you can use to do anything you want to. Now, it works this way. You go out there, and then you use the 50 cedi to purchase something from a store. Now, when you use that money to buy something from a store, let's say you buy something 5 cedi out of it, a change will be given to you. And when that change is given to you, you keep that change separately from where the wallet is. You put the wallet back into your pocket. 30 seconds after, the money you used to purchase something from the store, the money will come back into your wallet. So depending on the number of stores you go within a day, that will determine the amount of money you get within a day. And, brethren, if you are not a good Christian, if you are not someone who prays, and that money mixes with your money, let's say you're a trader and that money mixes with your money, I give you up to 6 months, forget, your money will go into the drain. You can't account for anything. Yes, that was the first option.
Okay, now before going ahead, when you went to this spiritualist to involve yourself in these money rituals, what were the conditions laid down? What were the things he asked you to bring and the conditions that were laid down before he went ahead to do these specific money rituals?
Yeah, you know, when you call them on phone, initially they will tell you no blood. They don't need blood from you. So you go to them, they will ask you to bring an amount of money, which you're going to buy. You're going to buy stars from the market. And then he will tell you he's going to call your star. So if your star responds, that will determine the amount of money you're going to get. So yes, first I was asked to bring an amount of money, which I sent. And then they used to buy certain things from the market. And then he called my star. My star came. And then he asked me the amount of money I want. You know, among the options, I chose the option I want. Mine was instant money. Yet, instantly, my money has to come. So, he poured a powder in my hand, and then he asked me, how much do I need? And I mentioned the amount I needed. And then he just did some things for about like 20 minutes. And then he opened a box, and the money was in the box. The exact amount I was looking for what's in the box. Yeah. So, you know, I took it to campus, started spending it. It got to a time, I flattered a rule of his. And then he asked me to bring human black, which I asked him I was not going to do. In fact, I called him on phone and insulted him. Yeah, and then I moved to a different ritualist.
So you said that initially they told you that you would not require blood, but once you had used this ritual and obtained instant money, when you now returned to that spiritualist to get more, he demanded for blood.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell us, what was the amount that you collected through this instant money? And once again, what were the conditions attached? How you would use this money, the things you could not use this money to do?
You know, for the first person, when the money comes, you have to go and deposit the money in a bank. After which you go and withdraw part of the money and come give it to him. So, for the second person, as I was saying, the second person, I went to him. He also gave me his options. And then I chose what I want. For his, when the money comes, you have to give 13 cities, out of it to 3 virgins, kids who are growing up. You give 13 cities to them before you can start spending your money. Yeah. For them, virtually, they're not going to give birth in their entire life again. Yeah.
I hope we understand what our brother just said. So the condition attached was that you had to give some of this money to 3 virgins. Yeah. And what would happen to those girls once you gave them the money?
When I give them the money and they spend the money, they're not going to give birth again in their entire life. Yet, you know, most of my friends who were engaged in also this, he told me it was my star that wanted me to give the money to the virgins. Now, most of my friends who are also into this, they also had their kind of rules, what they have to do. Let's say a friend, for instance, his rule is, you know, when women have their menstruation and then they throw their parts outside, he pays people to go pack them and bring it to him. And then he will take it to the ritualist for his. Now, when your woman and your part gets there, forget you're not giving birth again. There's no way you're going to give birth in your entire life again.
Okay. So what our brother is saying is that the spiritualist would give different conditions according to the person that came to him before doing the money ritual. In the case of our brother, when he was given this instant money, the condition was he had to give a certain amount of this money to 3 virgin girls. And whoever collected that money, once they spent it, they would never be able to give birth again in their life. And other friends of his had conditions whereby if a woman dropped her menstruation pad somewhere in a public place or on the floor, he would pay someone to collect those menstruation pads, bring it to the ritualist, and from that point forward, the person who dropped their menstruation pad would never be able to have a child in their life. So continue, brother. Tell us more about your activities with these ritualists.
Yeah, you know, when I went to this ritualist, they gave me options. You know, in Ghana, we have people who run microfinances, savings and loan companies. Now, most of the savings and loan companies that I knew were also into this. They had their option. Now, they'll go for money from these people and come outside and give it to you as a loan. Now, when you have a company or you have an asset and you use it as a collateral to take that money and you're not prayerful, forget. That asset that you used as a collateral will become a liability. There's no way you can pay the money back. So then, eventually, your assets become theirs.
So just explain more about how you would do this spiritual transaction with the bank to deceive people to do a loan. Just explain very clearly to people how you would go about it.
Okay, with a bank issue, he would charm the money for you. Yeah, with a savings. Okay, let me talk about the savings and loan aspect. Now, you go to him for a loan. He will take your assets. Let's say something valuable. That will be more than the money you are taking as a collateral. And then he will give you the money you want. Now, if you are not a good Christian, someone who prays, forget, there's no way you can pay that money back. So then what you use as a collateral will eventually become his. Because you can't pay the